another session. I am Dolly Chatterjee, Instructor, Employability Skill, Modern Vocational Private ITI, West Bengal. Today we will be continuing from where we have left in the earlier session. We will be discussing some of the parts of occupational safety, health and environment. Today basically we are going to discuss occupational hazards. So before we can discuss what are occupational hazards, we must understand from where this hazard comes. Now, as I say, repeatedly I have said that every occupation comes with a set of hazards. That is, whenever we go for work, whatever the kind of work, there has to be something that can cause some kind of strain, either physical or psychological. Mostly they cause physical strain, and this can be prevented by various methods, means and methods. So the first thing that we should know is occupational environment. What is occupational environment? Occupational environment is all the factors that influences a person's working capacity or working of a person. That is, what kind of conditions are there in the workplace. So, and it is all the external condition. It could be the temperature, it could be the humidity, the light, the ventilation, anything. And then, when a person is working, that person interacts or comes into close contact with a few things. Like, the man comes with some of the physical, chemical and biological agents that are found around us. As I said, physical agents like it could be the humidity or the temperature or the ventilation. These are the physical part of the physical agents that we come in contact with. Chemicals, of course, during a work, a person can come in close contact with various chemicals. Those who are working with chemicals. And biological agents are also, we are subjected to many biological agents, as for example, there can be some compounds, there can be microbes. And then, when we talk of environment, the man also very closely works with machine. So what happens is, due to this, if the machine does not confront with the, or conform with the, sorry, I'm extremely sorry, if the machine does not conform to the need of the worker, that can also cause some difficulties, which we will see as hazards. And again, man comes in contact with man. That is, the conditions of work. Here we generally talk about when man comes in contact with man, we say, when various people deal with each other, there could be some mental strain or some kind of emotional strain, or this might bring about some kind of psychosocial issues. Now, since we have been studying, we have been talking about or discussing about occupational health and safety, and today we are going to discuss hazards. So we must try to differentiate what is occupational health, what are hazards, and what are occupational diseases. Now, occupational health is that it should be taken care of, the general well-being, overall well-being of a worker should be taken care of. Both physical, mental and social well-being of a worker should be taken care of. How? There are many methods of taking care of, giving them the perfect environment to work with, all the physical and the biological, the chemical, everything, the man and the machine, everything. So, by that, occupational health can be taken care of. What are hazards? Hazards are some of the things which can cause harm if it is not controlled in time. So, these are, and it remains how much we try, as much as we can try, but it still remains to be taken care of all the time. From time to time it should be taken care of, or it can cause harm to the worker. And then occupational disease, there are many diseases which are caused during when the person is in occupation. The simplest example is the cough and cold. It is a very infectious issue. It is a very infectious health condition, and which very easily gets transmitted to another person. And then asbestosis is one such disease which is caused due to exposure to asbestos. Generally, people who are working with demolition of buildings. And today, what we shall be discussing is occupational hazards. Now, as I said, that occupational hazards are those hazards which can cause strain, either physical or mental or emotional, any kind of harm it can cause to the worker. Now, occupational hazard has been broadly divided into 6 categories. The first one is physical hazard, the second being chemical, then comes the biological hazard. Now, physical hazard, chemical hazard and biological hazard is, as I said, that the first kind of interaction in the environment, in the workplace. So what are that first kind of interaction? It is the man and the environment. So when the man and the environment interacts, they can cause physical hazard, chemical hazard and biological hazard. Second, we say that man and machine. So here we see that ergonomic hazard and mechanical hazard. So these ergonomic hazard and mechanical hazard are as a result of interaction between man and machine. Machine, whatever, it could be the tools, it could be the workstations, it could be the gadgets, whatever the person is using in his workplace. And then again we said that in occupational environment there is man and man interaction that can cause psychosocial hazards. Now let us take up one by one what physical hazards means. Physical hazard could mean that anything that we find around the environment around the workplace. Firstly, the ventilation. We can say that the ventilation is there. Now, what do you mean by ventilation? That there should be flow of clean and fresh air in the workplace. Now, why do we talk of ventilation? Because there are many places. As for example, I can give you a very small example. I happened to during my stay in Allahabad, I happened to visit a place where they used to join the bangles. As we can, in Indian context, we can understand that females are very fond of, or they religiously or culturally, they must wear glass bangles. So these bangles were joined manually. They used to join the bangle and over a lamp. So what happens in that room where there were many children and women were working in that room, and in that room there was no proper ventilation or light. They did not have ventilation. Fans were, that is luxury. They will not use fan because they had to light all the lamps there. So there was not even proper ventilation, proper light. The reason they cited was that if there is ventilation, then if there is airflow, then the lamps won't work and the bangles won't come out perfect. And they had to work in the light of the lamp itself. No other light was there. So ventilation is needed. These are the people who cannot work for a long time, and prolonged exposure to this kind of environment can cause many kind of disturbances in their physical state. Let us move on to, proper ventilation is very much needed in any kind of work situation. If it is a desk job, if it is working in a shop, working in a factory, working in a manufacturing unit, anywhere, proper ventilation is very essential. Next is noise and vibration. Noise plus vibration. Vibration, when it is not accepted by the human system, that becomes noise. Now, how does they affect the well-being of a worker? Let me give you one example. people working in various places where there is very loud noise, as for example the airports. So we have there have been instances where people working in the airports cannot take the noise, where the loud noise of the airplanes, and they get mentally disturbed. So noise, and there are many jobs where there is a lot of noise. Construction work also has a lot of noise and vibration. So these are the this can cause hazards. Electricity can cause different kind of hazard, like electrocution, like electric shocks, and since they can cause this kind of accident, so it is a must that one should be careful about electric appliances, should use proper gadgets or proper what we call the personal protective equipment, that is the rubber gloves or the rubber pads, or properly insulated tools. And accidents due to electricity can be avoided by proper maintenance and by proper training. Temperature. Now, during working, there are people who work in extremely high temperature or extremely low temperature. So these can also cause some kind of issues with the human system. As for example, prolonged exposure to heat can cause heat stroke. A person can faint due to excessive heat. A person can be fatigued due to excessive heat. So these all can be checked by minimizing the exposure, and by, if possible, by keeping the temperature which is apt for the person to work. Similarly, very low temperature is also dangerous for the human system. There are people who work in the very low temperature, maybe in the very high altitudes. So there are some examples like frost bites, and this kind of issues can crop up. Again, hypothermia is one of them. Here also I can give you another example, that I had the privilege to visit the Amul factory. So there we were, since we were kids, we were taken to the section where Amul ice cream were made. So there what happened, they had given us something like a raincoat, and they told us that since you are going into the low temperature, you should wear it. So what happened is, we refused to wear them. The reason was that we felt that it was nice and cool inside. Now what happened is, there we saw that every person is working in that suit. As a kid, we used to say that they are working in their raincoat. Now why are they wearing raincoat in this temperature? And we were shown all this, how the ice creams are made and all, and then we came outside. Today, today we can understand that we liked it. We enjoyed it because we were there for not even for 10 minutes, maybe 5 to 7 minutes we stayed inside, and we were already feeling cold. But the workers there, they work for, say, a long hours they have to work there, say 8 to 10 hours they have to work there. So at this low temperature, their body temperature might fall, and they might face the consequences of hypothermia. That is why proper suits, even at high temperature, even at very low temperature, there are body suits that has to be worn, and of course the PPEs. And then illumination again, from the, I gave you one example in the ventilation section. So proper ventilation section, the same example can be, the same case can be studied for the illumination purpose also. So illumination means there should be proper light should be there to work with, because there are occupational diseases, that occupational blindness or occupational cataract, these conditions are found. So proper illumination is necessary for workers to work in. Now after this physical hazards, we come to chemical hazards. What do you mean by chemical hazards? When there is a danger to a human because of a few chemicals. Now what are these chemicals? These chemicals can be the petroleum, the solvents. Here you can see I have given an example of gases, vapors, mists, dusts and fumes. is like there can be intoxication if we are exposed to gases. As for example, we can say the Bhopal gas tragedy, where we have seen that there were so many casualties because of the gas leak. Vapors, different kind of vapors people work with. There are many industries where they need to work with vapors, mists and dusts and fumes. Dust also are a form of chemical, especially those who work in the sawmill, they face some kind of the dust due to the continuous running of the sawmills. So these are some of the chemical hazards. And what can the chemical hazard cause? Chemical hazard can cause nerve problems in their nervous system. It can cause problem in their blood related problems. So these kind of, and of course irritation, itching and all, if it is directly the skin or the eyes are directly exposed to the chemicals. Here also, when I say that it affects the blood, a few years back there was a news in the newspaper that in Kalimpong, in West Bengal, in the Darjeeling district of Kalimpong, there was an accident where some students, one or two students died. It was like this, that the students were back from their vacations, and since the school or the institution was not open, they stayed, for the night they stayed there, and for the next day they had to go to the school. They were joining the school. So what happened, they used the washroom and they took a bath, they took a shower. So before they took a shower, the caretaker took a shower, then another boy took a shower. There were 4 of them. And again, when the next boy, first 2 people, they did not see anything wrong. Then when the third person, that is the second boy, took a shower, he had headache and he was not feeling okay. After that, the next 2 boys, they were small children, so they together, they were 2 brothers, they went inside the washroom and took the shower. And what happened is that they came out in a very intoxicated condition. They were unable to breathe, and one of them died. One of them was severely sick, he had to be hospitalized, and one of them died. And after proper investigation, it was found that they had gone through carbon monoxide intoxication. How did this happen? It was from the water they were using for their shower. Now this, what happens is, as I said, that it can cause intoxication, it can cause blood related problem. So the carbon monoxide, as we know, that it competes with the oxygen molecule in the hemoglobin. That is why the child lost his life. So these again, that we should be protecting against all these things by using shields and masks, again the PPE. And now how the chemical poisoning takes place, there are few methods by which the chemical poisoning can take place, like ingestion, if it is directly consumed, then inhalation, that is through the respiratory tract, if it goes inside your body through the respiratory tract, if the body absorbs it from the skin and from your feet, and if it is injected in your body. And of course the prevention, I told you, is the best is to use proper protective equipment. Now next is the biological hazards. Now while we are working, we face these biological hazards. What are biological hazards? Biological hazards are when we are at danger from organisms, living things. So what are they? Body, blood and body fluids. Then all the microbes, that is bacteria, viruses and fungi. Then there is insect bite, animal and bird dropping. These are all biological hazard. Now biological hazard, example of biological hazard is anthrax, then pneumonia, tuberculosis, which is found in working people, then AIDS, and now yes, of course, we are seeing this new virus. These are also, they are so contagious that they can be called one of the biological, as we see that viruses are biological agents which cause biological hazards. And protection from them, yes, there has to be proper awareness and education, and if required, using proper PPE. That can help us. Then there are ergonomic hazard. What do you mean by ergonomic hazard? Ergonomic hazard, here we must know the term ergonomics. Ergonomics means the science that studies the relationship between man and his machine. So that means that a machine should be designed to conform with the human body so that it causes minimum strain to the human body. Now, where did it start from? Ergonomics started in America. As we know that there has been a lot of plane crashes during the Second World War. The planes were supposed to bombard, or they were supposed to drop bombs over the European countries. Now what happened is, since there was a lever which was very similar, the lever that was used to bombard or drop bombs was very similar to the lever that was used to stop engine. So most of the flyers, what they did was they used to press the lever that was supposed to shut the engine down, and that is how there were many accidents which caused during World War II. And thereon ergonomics started, that it should be, when a man is using a machine, the machine should be so built that it should conform to the needs of the human body. Now in ergonomic hazard, it could be poor lighting, it could be improperly adjusted workstations, it could be repetitive awkward movement, like if the workstation is either very low or very high, then it is required, then we can have all the disorders, pains in your muscles. And we can see in the picture, we can see that the use of the correct and the wrong method of picking up a box. In the first section you can see the correct method of picking up an item, sitting and working in the desk. In the second you can see that reading a book in the chair, and of course lying down on the floor also. So, and in the second section you can see, which is blue, you can see that these are the wrong ways of doing the work. Now suppose here I have said that repetitive upward movements. Now suppose you have this, a person is needed to lift some weight in his work. It is his work that he has to lift some weight and carry it. Now if he uses the second method, if he bends forward and picks it up, then he is surely going to get a back problem. Now what happens? He should sit and then pick it up, and then he will be safe. So these are ergonomic hazard. And what happens? This causes various kinds of ergonomic hazard, generally causes various kinds of musculoskeletal disorder. And that is why nowadays we find all the tools, all the instruments, and even the chairs and the desks, they are all ergonomically designed. The vehicles that that are used to commute, the bikes, the bicycles, everything, they are all mostly ergonomically designed. And yes, prevention from this kind of hazard, it needs a lot of awareness and availability of ergonomic tools and equipments and gadgets and workplaces. Mechanical hazards. Mechanical hazard, now ergonomic hazard is again when man is counteracting with its machine. Mechanical hazard, we know that in the workplace maximum accidents occur due to mechanical hazard or due to machine. How hazard from machine is, where do we find all this hazard? In manufacturing area, mining area, construction area, and agriculture area, in all these areas we use machines. Now how are mechanical hazards? There are machines where there are open sharp parts. There are machines which has moving parts. So there are machines which are kept in the open, in the working condition. They have to be kept. So these are some of the places where, so how can one prevent this kind of hazard? This kind of hazard can be prevented by, say, guarding the machine or proper supervision. If a lot of maintenance is needed to avoid mechanical or to keep people safe from mechanical hazard, a lot of maintenance is required. Mainly there are two methods which are used. One is the lockout tagout method and another is the rollover method. Now in lockout tagout method, what happens is, if it is found that a machine needs maintenance, then that machine is locked and a tag is put on the machine that it is not working for, it won't be working for maintenance purposes. So that is how we can avoid the accidents, we can avoid this hazard until and unless it is maintained, the maintenance is complete, and then it can again start working. Another is rollover method, basically very useful in the construction and agricultural sector. Rollover method is the vehicle or the moving part is guarded by something that is insulating or like a rubber pad or something. So what happens when it rolls over, it will not cause any harm to the worker. So that is the rollover method which is mostly included. Now mechanical hazard, what kind of accident, mechanical hazard, we can find that generally when we get cuts or there is crushing of fingers or shearing of the skin, shear and tear of the skin. These are all mechanical hazards. Here you can see some of the mechanical injuries in the picture. Then there is psychosocial hazard. Now what do you mean by psycho? It is a psychosocial hazard or the hazard which comes due to interaction of man and man. So what do you mean by psychosocial hazard? Psychosocial hazard are those which generally causes stress at the workplace. Mental stress, not physical stress, stress at the workplace. Now this affects the well-being and the working capacity. First the well-being, the mental well-being of the worker, and then the working capacity. Now what happens is, what causes this psychosocial hazard? Psychosocial, here are the examples also. What causes this psychosocial hazard? Psychosocial hazard are like overworking, working for long hours without a break. This can cause not only physical stress but also mental stress. And what happens slowly if this continues for a longer period of time, the person gets frustrated, irritated and discouraged, and the person is not satisfied with his work. So what happens, his efficiency is affected. Then there are also time where there is violence from outside the organization. If there is violence outside the organization, that is the environment, the work environment inside the organization is important, and even outside the organization is also very important. So if there is violence outside the organization, it also affects the mental health of the worker. Then there is emotional and verbal abuse, like as for example racism. Then talking about someone's appearance, someone's weight, accent, all these things, continuously bullying the workers, these are all included in the emotional and verbal abuse. Then comes sexual harassment. Not necessarily it has to be a sexual act, but all kind of vulgar comments or some kind of sharing sharing texts which are not which are vulgar. All these are included in the sexual harassment. This can also cause a lot of mental stress and as a result affect the work of a person. And due to all this, because when we go for a workplace, a certain amount of physical, whatever we are given, all the environment is perfect, the physical conditions are perfect, the ergonomic conditions are perfect. Even if all the conditions are perfect, a certain amount of stress, a certain amount of physical stress is there. Apart from that, if all this happens, like the work pressure and the workload, and then the verbal abuse and the sexual harassment, if all this continues, there is a burnout. That is, that person gets completely discouraged to come to the workplace or work with the people he or she is working with. And of course, the exposure to unhealthy elements such as tobacco or uncontrolled alcohol, these are also included in the psychosocial hazards. What can we do to prevent it? Education and training is the best part to prevent it. Now, how to prevent these hazards? Every time I have been telling that to prevent these hazards, we need education and working. What we need is, the first thing what we have to do is, we have to educate the worker. They should be given the education, the knowledge of what occupational hazards are, how it affects the physical and mental well-being of the worker and the productivity and efficiency, and how it can be prevented. So this educating the worker is must. After that, they have to, wherever it is needed, they have to be given proper training of using the PPE, using gadgets for their purpose, using safety methods and safety norms, following the safety norms. These are also very important. Again, supervision is very important. From time to time, there has to be some kind of supervision, so that they cannot, so that the workers are forced, or the workers abide by all the training or the rules they are given. Lastly, inspection is very important. From time to time, there should be inspection to identify, monitor and take measures for correction, so that the hazards can be minimized.